questions. This journey starts. All these hesitations fill my heart. One thing I ask of you, Lord, surely this can be wrong. Give me a voice for you to sing a new song. Im emunah can tear us apart. Im emunah be'elechad. Im emunah can tear us apart. Im emunah be'elechad. Im emunah. Older brother, where have you been? My heart is breaking when I think of all that you've seen. I'm watching you suffer, but what can I do? The walls are so high, it's hard to break through. Perhaps when heaven falls, the walls will fall too, so I can bring God's comfort to you. Then we can join together and walk side by side, and our two voices will sing, be lifted high. Im emunah can tear us apart. Im emunah be'elechad. Im emunah can tear us apart. Im emunah be'elechad. Im emunah. So where is this going? Will night turn to day? We need you to show us there's no other way. We've been longing and waiting for Mashiach to appear. The time has come for our salvation draws near. Im emunah can tear us apart. Im emunah be'elechad. Im emunah can tear us apart. Im emunah be'elechad. Im emunah. Can tear us apart. Im emunah can tear us apart. Can tear us apart. Im emunah can tear us apart.
The little word, the Hebrew word im, can mean with and also if.
If, yeah.
And emunah being faith, and I love this song because there is that sort of sense. With faith, we can't be torn apart. If there's faith, we can't be torn apart, because there's always that choice, isn't there, as to whether we go with what God's asking us of us and trusting Him on the journey.
And
Yeah.
sometimes he's asking for weird things.
Weird things.
Weird things. And for example, if you walk in the street and you see a nest of birds,
Okay.
you need to send away the mother and you shall take the eggs. You have to do it. It's not. No, seriously,
I
you
know,
have to. I mean, if
this
you're
is one of the 613 commands.
exactly,
Right?
if you find yourself in a situation, this is what you do. You can't just walk away. It's not if you want, then do it. It's
Right.
do it. We don't really understand everything, right? Red heifer.
who knows, right? Burn it to ashes, and this is what purifies you. Do we know why? He doesn't explain, but sometimes he's asking for strange things in our eyes, in our human eyes,
Yes.
and sometimes he's even asking for things which looks contradicting to his nature and to what he's trying to teach us. And let me read something to you.
Right.
Let me read.
This is a tough one, isn't it?
I happen to have here, just completely by chance, didn't plan it, a few verses. Okay, so the verses go like that. Okay, I'm going to read it in Hebrew, and then I'm going to give it to you to read in English, because I can't read the Bible in English. I simply can't. Okay. Zachor et asher asa lecha Amalek. I'm reading from Deuteronomy. It's Deuteronomy 25, verse 17. What are you looking
My
for?
phone. I'm
Why do
looking
you
for
need
my
your phone?
because it's easier to read from my phone. But I don't know where I put it. Did you put it
Are
somewhere?
we going to waste time on this? Okay.
Here it is.
Ruth found her phone.
So,
Okay.
so what is it?
Deuteronomy 25.
See, we really were ready for this. Well, you were. I wasn't.
Of course I was. So,
Go ahead.
you can open your Bibles as well.
Go
Deuteronomy
ahead.
25,
Deuteronomy 25.
verse 17.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're going all the way to the end of verse 19. So only 3 verses. זכור את אשר עשה לך עמלק בדרך בצאתכם ממצרים, אשר קרך בדרך, ויזנב בך כל הנחשלים אחריך, ואתה עייף ויגע ולא ירא אלוקים. והיה בהניח אדוני אלוהיך לך מכל אויבך מסביב בארץ, אשר אדוני אלוהיך נותן לך נחלה לרשתה. תמחה את זכר עמלק מתחת השמיים, לא תשכח.
Wow.
Go ahead.
Tell me, just give me the verse again.
17 to the end of 19.
Okay. Remember what Amalek did unto thee by the way as he came forth out of Egypt, how he met thee by the way, and smote the hindmost of thee, all that were enfeebled in thy rear. I love the English. It's just like, oh well. Okay. When thou wast faint and weary, and he feared not God. Therefore it shall be, when the Lord thy God hath given thee rest from all thine enemies round about, in the land which the Lord thy God gives thee for an inheritance to possess it, that thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven, thou shalt not forget.
What's the story here? Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, now I want to say something about what you've read. You know, the beginning of verse 18. It says, Asher karacha b'derech. And you read like that they met you on the way or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, but the thing is that, and you know some Hebrew now, that Asher karacha b'derech, it's not really met. It doesn't talk about meeting. Okay? So we don't really understand what that word means. Karacha. Ken. Oh, so there are a few explanations. Okay, or a few. I mean, there is the approach that says, you know, they happened
Upon you.
Yeah, they happened upon you on the way. But there's another approach that I really like, that the word karacha is related to the word kar. What's kar in Hebrew?
Hard. Like difficult.
That's kasher.
Look hard. Cold.
Cold. They cooled you down. You were so boiling, you know, with faith. After everything you've seen, you know, the tear of the Red Sea, the 10 plagues, Mount Sinai, all these miracles that you've seen, and they came to cool you down. They came with their word to cool your faith.
It's like down. To water it down,
like, you know, like when someone is very enthusiastic, he has this enthusiasm. It's like it's more oriented with heat, right? Like he's fury. Can you say fury? What's that?
You could, but probably
he's
not.
Like a flame, right? He has this fire that he wants to share and talk about and all that. Yes. And they came to cool them down. Fire. To cool them off, maybe.
Cool them off.
Yeah. Okay, and that's and it fits right. It fits right there. This is basically, they came to fight against, the Amalekites. Of course they knew what happened in Egypt. The whole world knew. Even though they didn't have internet and media and all that, they knew. You know, God did something in the world, such a huge thing. The world's biggest empire fell fell. Of course the world knew about it.
Right.
Everybody knew about the miracles. And these guys, the Amalekites, they still came after everything they've heard. They still came to fight this newborn nation. Now, why did they do that? They knew nothing about them. They've never met them, and it's not like the Jews were basically approaching the land of Amalekites.
Right.
The Amalekites came to them. They approached them. They came out of their territory to fight them outside of their territory. Now, why were they so enthusiastic to do that? What did they want to gain? What did they come to fight against? These guys. Okay, they came to fight against God, against the existence of a living God in the world,
Right.
and the fact that there is a chosen nation to that God, and this nation brings out new morals, new morality to the world. Okay, it has something to say, something to teach. This is not just about the Jewish people. They knew that it would also mean something about them.
Yes, especially idolatry and all
They knew that was the end of their belief. They knew that their life would never be the same as Gentiles.
Yes.
They knew, and that's what they came to fight.
Right.
And they came to break that faith. They wanted to show, we've heard about that God of yours, and they came to fight them. And that was a war of faith. Right? Do you know the verse about Moses, holding up his hands, and as long as they were up in the air, the Jews basically managed to overcome their enemy, and once he took them down, then they couldn't. So Aharon, right? The verse says that Aharon and Hur, they came and they held Moses' hands. They understood, and then the verse says that Moses' hands were faith to dawn. Vayu yadav emuna ad or boker. His hands were the faith.
Wow.
Right?
To the light of the morning.
Yes, that's in Exodus or either Exodus or Numbers. I don't remember right now. But that was basically that was that war. So his hands became faith. Became the symbol of faith. And they came to fight God himself.
Wow.
Okay, and that is why God is telling us. He's saying to us, you need to wipe them out. Now, why is God saying this? Can't He do it alone? He just wiped the entire Egyptian empire. Why does He need us to do? Why does He need us to fight His battles? Because we need to fix something there. Right? Because it says they came when you were tired and you did not fear God. It was a spiritual war.
Right.
It wasn't just a strategy or something like that. It was a spiritual war. And this command lasted. Right? It lasted all the way to the time of King Saul. Right? God is saying to Samuel, okay, this is the time to fight Amalekites. Right? They didn't go straight away to fight Amalekites. Amalekites didn't, right? They didn't. Right? First they had to be, it says so in the verse, first of all, you should take care of everything around you. Okay? Take care of all the problems. Keep that your last problem. Keep that your last war. And then they went and they fought them. But they didn't wipe them all out, right? We said before. We said they kept Agag, Agag, whatever you call it,
King, yeah.
Agag, and so they kept him alive. But now the question is, the big question is, are they still out there in 2016? We know that from we kept Agag alive, and then and that was the consequence of Haman. And then Haman was hung and his 10 sons. But we don't know anything about Haman's children. I mean, Haman's grandchildren.
Right.
He obviously had grandchildren.
Right.
Right? But they were not hung. So, now, our Torah is everlasting. It's everlasting. Every little thing being written here we can apply to is relevant for nowadays.
Right.
It's relevant for nowadays. So are they still out there?
Wow.
And how do we find them? And how do we do that? And who are they? And how can we do it in today's reality? Do we need to ask permission from the UN to do that? And what shall we tell them? Listen, it says in Deuteronomy that come on, be serious. So how do we do that?
Wow.
So how do we keep 613 commands without being able to keep this one?
So is this truly something that is discussed a lot? This particular question.
Of course, especially this time of year, because the whole thing about Purim is the war against the Amalekites,
and did we do it?
And Haman was Amalekite, so it's the whole thing. So today that we don't know who are those Amalekites, then we talk about the spirit of Amalekites. We have to fight against the spirit of Amalekites. Now, that spirit doesn't have to be driven by Amalekites themselves. But what was their spirit?
Would you say that was like anti-Semitism?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But pure anti-Semitism. Pure anti-Semitism just because you're a Jew.
Right.
Now, by the way, I think the term anti-Semitism is quite funny.
I know.
Because what does it mean? It means that we are basically we are the sons of Semite, right? Of Shem, the son of Noach, right?
Yeah.
Noach had 3 children: Shem, Ham, and Yefet. So Ham, he was the one that was punished, after what he did to his father.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were Yefet and there was Shem. So Shem was a Semite. So we are basically the descendants of Shem, because that's Abraham came from Shem, and that's why the word says anti-Semitism. They don't even realize by doing that they recognize our long history here in the world. Now it's quite funny because the Arabs are Semites as well. Right. So when we talk about and I don't know, someone would say he's anti-Semitic or anti-Semite, but are they against the Arabs as well? Because they are the descendants of Ishmael, and Ishmael was the son of Abraham. So it's quite funny, but whatever. That was 60 seconds of modern anti-Semitism.
So are you saying then that? Does this question particularly come up every Purim?
Of course, this is the topic of Purim. We also go back, even though this is not the weekly Torah portion of Purim, we go back and on the Shabbat before Purim, this is what we read, these verses.
So is there a sense of the need to put something right that you didn't, like something that wasn't followed through on completely on what God had asked? And so is there this need that we have to put this right?
Of course, and also pay attention to the words. The verses begin with the word zachor, remember, and the verses end with lo tishkach.
Don't forget.
So if you said zachor, remember, why do you keep saying don't forget in the end? So of course God is emphasizing something, he's beginning with the obligation to remember, and he's finishing off with the obligation not to forget. Right. So no way here. This is something we have to do. So we are basically talking today. We talk about the spirit of Amalekites,
right?
And that spirit is basically anything that attempts to shake our world of faith,
right?
Anything. Okay, the world of faith that God is determining here, not the world of faith that each of us can choose for himself. I believe in that. I believe in that. No, it's not that. It's this faith that we're talking about. Anything that comes to shake in this, we have to fight against.
Right.
And we know that there are many things like that today in the world.
Well, there's the physical things, but also the things that come against our faith on the inside, like our doubts.
And now I'll say something now. And it's maybe not the best thing to finish off with. Okay, I'm gonna drop a bomb here.
Okay, you're good at that.
No, but I've heard various times in my life, that when people stood up and gave a teaching, or one like this rabbi or another rabbi, and thanks to replacement theory.
Theology.
Thanks to replacement theology, then many Jews say that this is the Amalekite spirit, that it comes from Christianity, and this is one of the reasons that it's so hard for Jews not to accept Christians,
right? Because
of this exactly. And I'm telling you, I know personally, I know of one rabbi that I heard him. I heard him say, he was talking, and then he was talking about Amalekites, and all that. And then in the end, that's how we finished off. He said, I remember it was Friday night in synagogue, and then he said, and who are the Amalekites? Christianity. Shabbat Shalom. And he finished off his thing.
Gosh.
And then I went to him in the end and I said, how could you say such a thing? I mean, how could you... I mean, who are you to say such a thing?
Was this recent?
2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you know what? I'm not... And then he said, well, I mean, the replacement theology, it comes... I mean, it basically, they come to change the Bible. They give me a whole lecture. And I said, listen, I don't know who Amalekites are, okay? I don't know if there are there outside in the world. I don't know anything about it.
Right.
But at least I say I don't know.
Yes.
I don't presume. I don't go ahead and say, we've heard during history, every time there was a big thing, let's say Inquisitions in Spain, Holocaust in Germany, every time in every generation they said, oh, these are the Amalekites,
right.
the Germans, the Spanish people, the Catholic Church, the Crusaders, I don't know, you name it.
Wow.
But we can't go ahead we can't do it like that. You can't stand in front of an audience and say drop a bomb, finish off and leave. People might believe you. People might take you seriously. Right? If people don't really stop and think for a second. And how can you say such a thing about Christianity? Millions of people. How can you overgeneralize such a thing about such a large group of people? Have you ever met one? Have you ever spoken to any? I understand concept-wise, I understand what you're saying.
Yes.
I understand what you're saying, but we need to be more careful nowadays. We need to be more careful, not because we need to be politically correct. We don't have such a term in Hebrew, but not because of that. Because who we are, just because of who we are, and we can't just shut doors. No, you're Amalekites, not talking to you. You're a Jebusite, not talking to you as well. No, you look like a Philistine, not talking to you. Oh, come on. I mean, it's not serious.
Wow,
that's not serious.
It just, I mean, when you describe that story, that situation, it drives home yet again the huge. I could say, the huge task ahead of us. I mean, I realize that we're entering into this task together with God. But it's a huge task because there is just so much that has to be broken down of perceptions, and I mean this is huge. Like thousands of years that people people think like that for 2,000 years now. Yeah. And and we have thoughts.
Now I'm not saying I think today it's more. I really think that today is more about the spirit because we don't know. We don't know who the people are, but I think today it is talking about the spirit. So fine, I do agree that we need to fight against that spirit.
Right.
100%.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
But we can't just overgeneralize and say, yeah, all Christians are Amalekites.
All right.
Come on.
Wow.
Crazy.
Well.
I told you I'm going to drop a bomb.
Yeah. No. I mean it's it's a bomb that, in a sense, that needs to be heard. It needs to be recognized.
Yeah, because if we are really doing something, then we need to be comfortable to really say everything, like not to feel.
Absolutely.
It's okay, right? I mean, I'm just describing the situation. I'm not judging it, or we don't.
No, I mean, I appreciate it, and I think it's incredibly important for us as Christians to hear it, and to acknowledge where our part is. Because there's certainly an aspect of truth in that, but to just completely, wipe the whole, colour it all in that way is not. It's just not true. So. That's what
bridges to build.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, so I've enjoyed doing this, to just kind of delve in a little bit deeper, and I really, really hope that you've got something out of it, and please, like, be in touch with us, because sometimes I think we feel like we're putting out these thoughts and ideas and comments, things we say, things Gil's talking about, and would really, really love to have more of a connection with you guys. But we love doing it, and we love what God is doing. So we're just about to start a new Now week. We're excited about that. It begins tomorrow night.
So, Purim Sameach.
Purim Sameach.
Purim Sameach.
Happy Purim.
See you in a month.